I guess this is the part where I got to say stuff. I was trying to chat and I typoed the hell out of hello, but I'm trying to say hello to people as they come in. Welcome, everybody, to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and this is our journey into the strange and wonderful worlds of the unknown and unusual and paranormal. We got a lot to go through tonight. It's just you guys and me tonight. I got no co-host. But I will do my best to fill the void as well as I know how. And hopefully that'll be good enough. Danny Lucas is in here. Rachel Gets It Right is here. Karen Alberding is here. Deborah Neighbors is here. Bogart is here. Marie Garman is here. Happy I made it. I'm happy you made it too, Marie. Thank you for coming in and being a part of the journey as we dive into it. Happy Father's Day. When's Father's Day? When is that? Is that tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know this stuff. They keep throwing holidays out there, and I never know when the hell they are. Other than Christmas and Halloween. I think that's, and the 4th of July. That's because it's the name. I know when that one is. Even though it's Independence Day. But, you know, we all call it the 4th of July. So I can always remember that. But Memorial Day, Labor Day, freaking Pink Purse Day. Hell, I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But they keep throwing holidays at me, and yeah, Mother's Day, Father's Day, your little puppy day. I don't know. It's just they celebrate everything. God bless you, and you know, of course, everybody needs acknowledgement. But just know that no matter what day it is, I love you all the same, and you don't need a holiday for that. You get my love all the time. So I hope that matters. I don't feel bad. Totally forgot about Easter. I work so much, though. Every day is basically one long day. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not, nor have I ever been a calendar person. And I don't know. And it sounds absolutely tragic and stupid and probably inexcusable. But I don't know when a lot of my family members' birthdays are. And I grew up with these people. And you'd think I would know. But in my defense, we didn't do a lot of over-the-top celebrating of pretty much anything other than Christmas. You know, that was the big holiday every year. Everything else was like, oh, we don't have to go to school today, or, you know, some other, you know, thing, or fireworks day, or wear a costume day. And other than that, we never celebrated stuff. So, and I don't feel bad about that. I'm not whining or complaining. It was fine. I'm not a dad that I know of, Phil. Phil, well, you know what? Only my jokes are. Hey, Barry Anderson, good to see you over on Facebook. Thanks for stopping in. Hello, Barbara Mora over on the Rumble, holding down the fort over there alone so far in the Rumble chat. But hello to anybody over there that's lurking and just hanging out. Thank you so much for being here. And hello to anybody on X checking out the show. I really appreciate you being here, as well as Twitch. And, yeah, oh my God, we had dress up every holiday. Oh, Car Juice is over there now. Barbara's got company over there in Rumble. That's good. I'm sure Justin Good Earth and Big D will be over there. And maybe Dog will be over there at some point, too. Usually comes in the fourth quarter every show, but that's cool. I understand. I don't pretend I'm the only thing going on out here. So I know there's lots of amazing and wonderful shows. Hey, Danny Lucas. Still absolutely love the show. I love that you're here, Danny. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Owl 13 is here as well. Mickey G is here. Good to see you guys. Shelly Montgomery's here. Good to have you here, Shelly. Thank you for coming in. And I'm just doing my best to say hello. Congratulations, you received 100 messages today with Restream Chat. They want me to tweet. I don't think I need to tweet 100 messages, but thank you, Restream, for celebrating with me. I'm just going up to the top here. I know Phil Funk is in here. I think I already talked to Phil. I'm just looking for names that I maybe haven't said yet. I got Karen Alberding is here. Hello, Karen. Good to see you. Marie is here. Rachel. John Temprin. Did I say hi to you, John? Hello, John. Thank you for coming in. And Josh Casto is here. My brother. All the way from some other mother. I don't know what the hell that means. It's all that came to my head. Dale Atkinson is in here. Good to see you, Dale. Thanks for coming in. And these are all on YouTube so far. Haven't seen anybody pop in from Twitch, but normally we don't see a lot from Twitch. Not that's Twitch doesn't matter, but I haven't gotten any attention over there yet, and that's fine. It doesn't cost me anything to stream over there all the same, and I figure, well, it's just another place that the name pops up, and maybe that helps. So it's branding. It's all about branding, I think, is what they call it. Hey, Bogart, good to have you here as well. So I'm just scrolling quick, looking. Did I say hello to everybody? John Stevenson is here. So the Johns are represented. Welcome to the Johns. The John corner is now occupied. Well done, guys. David Zeismer is here. Good to see you, David. And let's see. I'm just scrolling quick. I think that's everybody, unless somebody else came in now. I'm going to scroll down. Let's see. As I scroll to the beginning of the chat. I have to just kind of... Oh, the Goblin came in. Good to see you, Goblin. Thanks for coming in, man. Jem Gwyn is here. The wonderful, impeccable Jem Gwyn, who's been a friend and part of the show for a long, long time. Great to see you, Jem. Thank you so much for coming in here. Cindy33 is here. How you doing? Great to see you. Thanks for popping in and saying hello. And I think that's everybody. Everybody that I can see so far anyway. Now, I know some people just like to hang out and watch the shows, and that's perfectly fine. You don't need to chat to matter. Just please like the stream if you enjoy the shows. And that means the world to me. So, all right. What is going on tonight? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to be getting to the news shortly here. I've got 4 articles waiting for you. I decided to give you a bonus news article tonight. Plus, I don't have a co-host, so it's like I got more time to fill. And certainly we got more to do, though. I've got a pretty robust "What the hell is that" segment coming up. We're going to cover several things. And here's the thing. I'll leave it for that segment, but I think it'll be interesting and fun and kind of curious. And maybe most of you guys have already heard of this going on, but it'll be fun to discuss anyway. Then we're going to get to the Discord question of the week. We're probably going to do the Discord question of the week first, and then the "What the hell is that?" And then we'll round it out with some more of the stories of people encountering ghosts from Thought Catalog, and then the Cryptid Corner. So we got a lot to get to, and only 2 hours. Now, 2 hours sounds like a lot, but honest to God, it goes so quick. Oh my God, Jem Gwyn's rolling deep. Just gifted 10 memberships, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That is pretty incredible. All right, well, let's see who got the 10 memberships. So far, it's Josie Flores got one. Congratulations, Josie. You're officially a member of the channel. Blondes and Booze Paranormal. I bet you that's Krista. Gotta love you, Krista. Wonderful to see you. Thanks for coming in and being a part of our listening audience here. Alan Goodyear got one. I used to know a guy named John Goodyear. He was an amazing artist. Just an amazing artist. Just a very, very unique soul. But that's neat to see the name Goodyear, because I have never met another Goodyear in my life. But good to see you, Alan. Maybe you're related. I don't know. Peter Frampton's here, and you gotta wonder, do you feel like we do? Sorry. Couldn't resist. That's a classic song. I wonder if it's the Peter Frampton. That'd be cool. But no matter which Peter Frampton you are, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. All right, continuing on, Teresa Finn, who's Writer Chick, is here. Great to see you, Teresa. Thank you so much. UFO Bigfoot is here. Wow, that's cool. I've never heard of UFO Bigfoot. Definitely, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm reading them, if you see a channel you want to check out any of these people's channels. It sounds like UFO Bigfoot might have some great offerings. Sugar Britches. Oh, it's good to see you, Sugar Britches. Haven't seen your name for a long time, but good to have you back. Turbeha777. I assume I'm pronouncing that right. But welcome to the show. And Barely Human, B-E-A-R, Barely Human. Good to see you. And Kimber, a.k.a. Cute as Cluck. All of you guys are now members. Thank you, Jem Gwyn, for the 1 month memberships for all these wonderful people. And, I can't tell you how much that means to me. It certainly helps out a ton here on the channel, just keeping the lights on. So thank you, all of you guys, and I hope you enjoy being a member for a month at least. Maybe you'll continue, maybe not. No harm, no foul. But at least you'll know. Now you don't have to wonder, what's it like to be a member? Because you're a member now. All right. Good to see you guys. I'm just seeing if there's anyone else I didn't say hello to yet. Vincent Sanchez popped in. Good to see you, Vincent. Thank you so much. And just scrolling quickly. Oh, BJ Lapierre, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Author and illustrator and wonderful soul. She's a great lady. BJ has become a fast friend here of the show, and we're thrilled she's here. Mary Wins, how you doing, Mary? Good to have you here. Thanks for coming in. Squitter Hyena is here. It says, I'm Eyes Hyena on the Discord, and Squitter here. If anyone was wondering, much love to you all. Well, thanks for coming in and saying hello in the chat here. That's great. And thanks for being a part of the Discord. Of course, we're going to be covering the Discord question of the week. No, I said that. Never mind. I'm stroking out here or something. So we're going to get to that. I hope you took a moment, Squitter, and weighed in on the question of the week on Discord. But if not, you don't have to. It's not a requirement, but it's just there if you want to weigh in. So I think I've said hello to everyone that I can see that's popping up here. So, all right. Hey, Eric Fry. Eric Fry just popped in, said hello. Hello to you, sir. Welcome, everybody, to the show. All right, we're going to get to the news and find out what's going on in the world, and then we're going to continue on. So without further delay, it's time for the news. John, I'll never get tired of seeing that. John Stevenson says, the only news I trust. God bless you, sir. I appreciate that a lot. Looks like my camera's a little pixelated. This is supposed to be a 4K camera, but I think it's on the very low end of 4K, if it's indeed 4K, but it's a MX Brio or whatever they say. It was not cheap for as far as webcams go, but I guess I gotta probably save up my lunch money to get a DSLR mirrorless or something to get that real pro level, but it's better than the old 1080 anyway. I've been using it for a while now. I don't know if many people noticed or not, but I was just looking at it now like, yeah, that looks kind of grainy though. Does it look grainy to you guys, or does it look okay? I mean, if you're looking on a phone, it probably doesn't matter because the screen is so small, or if you're on a tablet, but if you're on a bigger screen, maybe it looks a little less impressive. You do look a little blurry, man. Well, I feel a little blurry for whatever that's worth. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's as good as it's going to get. But when I move is when I see it. It's like, it doesn't have true, I mean, if you wave your hand back and forth, that's a good measure of the quality of a camera. And it's better than the old one, but it's not great, but it's okay. All right. Well, we're going to get to the news throughout the course of the show. Obviously, we utilize a lot of different sites with information, articles, and things that we cover throughout the course of the shows. And all I can ask is you guys please support these shows. Yep, BJ says a little blurry, but it shows that you're not AI because you aren't perfect. Well, that's true. That's true. Although I aspire to be. Someday maybe, but not yet for sure. Yeah, I just hope you guys will check out the show or the articles and support them. Go visit these sites. These sites are incredibly well done. And I just want to definitely support and encourage you guys to promote what they're doing, because it's incredible sites and they are incredibly well done. So the first site always on the shows is the incredible unexplained-mysteries.com. And I've really loved this site, and I've never been disappointed by this site. It's just so well maintained and so current, and they just do a hell of a job. So let's get to this first article tonight here on the news. And this is Non-Human Voices in the Depths, a blueprint for alien contact. Interesting. Let's see what they're saying here. Okay, SETI has been taking inspiration from the mysterious communications of a well-known ocean-dwelling animal, or mammal. I wonder if it's dolphins or whales, one of the two. Efforts to scour the heavens for evidence of alien life have typically focused on listening out for radio signals or looking for techno-signatures of alien civilizations around distant stars. But now SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, has found an analog for alien communication much closer to home, and it could play a vital role in aiding the hunt for alien life. The research in question concerns mysterious bubble rings created by humpback whales. Oh, that's not what I was thinking of. But it is whales, a phenomenon that has until recently been attributed to animals' mating rituals. According to SETI's researchers, however, these bubble rings may actually be an attempt by the whales to communicate with humans, and they may have been trying to talk to us for years. What? The bubble rings are a language? Okay, let's see what it says. They're blowing bubble rings in our direction in an apparent attempt to playfully interact, observe our responses, and or engage in some form of communication, said study co-lead author Dr. Fred Sharp from the University of California, Davis. By looking back through recorded examples of this phenomenon, the researchers discovered multiple instances where whales creating these bubble rings while approaching boats and exhibiting playful, relaxed behavior, indicating a legitimate attempt to communicate. The rings could simply be the whale's way of saying, "Hi there, let's chat." Could also be saying, "I got gas, I'm trying to mate." I don't know. Right. I mean, that's certainly hey, let's talk could be one example, but I've blown some bubble rings that I'm not proud of personally. I'm just saying. So, I don't know. I'm an idiot. I got a microphone, so you get to deal with it. But anyway, SETI is now using this concept to help scour the universe for signs of an equivalent act by an extraterrestrial civilization that may be trying to attract our attention in much the same way. The findings could also help scientists determine how many alien civilizations might be out there. By integrating our findings into a broader context of Drake's equation, we aspire to advance our understanding of the factors influencing the emergence of communicative intelligence in extraterrestrial civilizations, the team wrote. I bet they're not going to find any bubbles in space. I'll be the first one to go on record and say that. So I don't know how that translates. Well, how does this translate to their search for extraterrestrials? Because bubble rings aren't happening in space. So what does this mean? Is it just that they're going to look for the proverbial bubble ring in a particle burst, or what are we talking about? I don't understand. They lost me on this one, folks. I'm not getting it. Not that I should get it, maybe. I don't know. It's just weird. How does that equate? Let's look for this kind of behavior. I mean, anything we pick up from space is going to be odd, and I don't know. But quantifying it in relation to naturally occurring phenomena, I think, is the big question mark. I don't know. Does this make sense to anybody, or am I just being dense here? I'm kind of curious. I don't know. I'm waiting for any feedback from chat here, because that doesn't make much sense to me. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe they forgot to load the bubbles in the bubble machine. Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. It's like, okay, so whales blow bubbles playfully and maybe are trying to interact in a very rudimentary way. But, okay, Bogart's not getting it either. Okay, all right. I'm glad. I'm just, I don't know how the hell that translates to, well, let's look for this kind of behavior, but what's the equivalent of a bubble ring for aliens? I don't know. A crop circle? Is that it? Is that bubble rings from space? Crop circles, maybe? I don't know. I would start there. Give that a shot. I mean, some of our hoaxed, of course, but some very well could be real, and they're ignoring that so far. But maybe crop circles are our bubble rings. Maybe that's it. Maybe we've been getting the bubble rings already, and they just ignore that. So I don't know. I'm not saying all crop circles are real. And maybe only a small percentage are real. But Dale Atkinson, I can't even read that. We're at that age now, though, where you're right. I don't know. I'm assuming you're somewhere in my range, but yeah, that's definitely a sage piece of wisdom right there. All right, well, let's get to the next article. I don't know. Bubble rings. The only rings that I know that are supposedly coming from space are crop circles. Let's call those the bubble rings. See what happens. I don't know. Anyway, let's get to the next one. And I don't think this is any big news to anybody, but I thought, well, it's interesting. So we'll talk about it here in case you didn't know. There's allegedly some ancient maps ancient maps that show Antarctica as what may have been a very green place. I think it's the Pius-Reis map or Reis-Pius map, or I forget the name of it, but it's controversial. But some people suggest that maybe that shows a very green Antarctica, which is obviously very much under a lot of ice now and is not at all green. Excuse me, I used my inhaler before the show, and it's making me real froggy. But I don't know. I don't think it's any mystery to many people that it is believed that Antarctica was at one point tropical, perhaps before a polar shift had happened at some point in the distant past. But I don't know. It's anybody's guess. I mean, I don't pretend to be real informed about this. But here's the next article, which talks a little bit about this. From Science and Technology Files of Unexplained-Mysteries.com, real-life land that time forgot, discovered beneath the Antarctic ice. Scientists have found signs of a vast prehistoric landscape hidden a mile beneath the ice. Can you imagine a mile of ice on top of you? I mean, I just can't imagine. How did a mile of it get there? I don't know. And if that's the case, why isn't it like a mile above the ocean? I don't understand. Anyway, it might be hard to imagine today, but millions of years ago, Antarctica wasn't the freezing, barren wasteland of snow and ice that we see now, but a vibrant landscape consisting of forests, rivers, swamps, and mountains, teeming with all manner of long extinct creatures. But now a team of scientists headed up by Professor Stuart Jamieson, a geologist at Durham University, has uncovered a veritable lost world deep beneath the Antarctic ice. Untouched for 34 million years, this 12,000 square mile region lies in a part of East Antarctica called Wilkes Land and lies approximately 1 mile beneath the frozen surface. Discovered through the use of satellite data and ice-penetrating radar, this long-lost region consists of deep valleys and towering ridges, indicating the presence of ancient rivers and forests. This finding is like opening a time capsule, said Professor Jamieson. The land underneath the East Antarctic ice sheet is less well known than the surface of Mars. We're investigating a small part of the landscape in more detail to see what it can tell us about the evolution of the landscape and the evolution of the ice sheet. As for the future, there are plans to drill directly down through the ice to obtain samples for further study and analysis, potentially revealing even more about this prehistoric lost world. The research could also help scientists better understand how the Antarctic landscape is likely to evolve in the coming decades. Well, one more pole shift and that could be the new Africa for all we know. I don't know, it's hard to say. Could be the new North America. I would have to really flip for that, but anyway, that's crazy. I don't know. I think in the prehistoric ages it was probably a pretty robust place, but something happened, and I don't know if that's polar shift that did that, like a pole shift that actually just thrust it into absolute icy hell, or what happened. But it's probably lots of incredible discoveries to find under that ice, unless it's all ground to hell, like ground into powder from all that ice on top. I don't know if it would be preserved or if it would just be smashed into putty by now. I mean, a mile of ice has got to be really heavy. So that's a glacier, I guess, right? So I don't know. Weird stuff. But anyway, you heard it here. If you didn't know that before today, now you know. Let's get to the next one. The next article is coming from Modern Mysteries. And this one is Mystery as Fisherman Captures Photograph of a Very Rare Black Iceberg. I'd never even heard of a black iceberg before, but that's pretty crazy. I guess they're out there, folks. I mean, the black sheep of icebergs, I suppose. The unusual chunk of ice was spotted during a fishing excursion off the coast of Labrador, Canada. Icebergs are almost always white in color, which makes this particular sighting, which occurred back in May, approximately 100 kilometers offshore of the Hopedale Channel, so unusual. It was spotted between Nain and Hopedale by Haller Antoniusson, I guess, a native of the Faroe Islands who had been working aboard the Sepudi factory freezer trawler. The usual coloration and shape of the iceberg quickly drew his attention. I've seen icebergs that are rolled, and what they say have rolled in the beach with some rocks in it, he told CBC Radio, and this one is completely different. It's not only that, it's all black. It almost is a diamond shape. Yeah, I guess it almost is, really. It's worth bearing in mind that Antoniusson has seen countless icebergs over the last 50 years, so for an iceberg to surprise him, it would have to be something unusual indeed. It's something you don't see very often, and a camera is not something I run around with when I'm working, he said. So I just ran to my room and took my phone and snapped this picture. So why is the iceberg black? Yeah, that's a great question. One possibility is it contains debris that was churned up when it scraped across the ocean floor in the distant past and later exposed when the iceberg flipped over. And some have also suggested that it might be ash from an ancient volcano eruption. But whatever the case, it's certainly unusual. Have you guys ever heard of a black iceberg before? Because literally I'm today old, and this is when I learned it. I had no idea there could be black icebergs. But there you go. I guess there can, but I didn't know that before today. Hello, Michelle Wolfong. Good to see you. Werewolf's here as well. Good to have you here, Werewolf. Thank you for coming in. Annie Manul is here. Awesome. The gang is just all getting here. Good. And, of course, there's more. I'm going to get to the next one now. The last one, as it were. This is one I've had open for a while. I didn't know about this, and maybe it's kind of old now. This is from the 1st of June. But I've had it open here and never gotten to it. And I just realized that today. So I'm like, well, let's check this one out. I don't know what this is. Maybe the article will have more information. I got to quit saying All right, here we go. Mystery as dead whales keep washing up in San Francisco Bay Area. I actually have a supplementary extra article for the news tonight. It was provided by Roman Daniels. We'll get to that in a little bit. Mystery as dead whales keep washing up in San Francisco Bay Area. That doesn't sound good. Local authorities are struggling to explain the sudden and anomalous increase in whale deaths. Something unusual is stirring in the waters of San Francisco Bay this year, an unprecedented influx of whales, 33 counted so far, compared to just 6 sightings in all of 2024. And even more alarming is a corresponding surge in whale deaths. 15 whales have been found dead since the beginning of the year, prompting concern and confusion among marine biologists. The phenomena began just last month when a gray whale was discovered washed up on the shores of Black Sands Beach, part of the Golden Gate National Recreational Area. And what's unfolding in San Francisco Bay right now is very dramatic, or very dynamic, evolving situation that is still very much under investigation. Giancarlo Rulli, a spokesperson for the Marine Mammal Center, told SF Gate, "We're seeing staggering figures, and local scientists are still trying to get the answers. So far, 14 of the deceased whales were gray whales. While one was identified as a rare juvenile minke whale, researchers have collected samples from the animals in an effort to determine what caused their deaths. Preliminary investigations suggest that 3 of the whales may have died from vessel strikes, but The cause behind the remaining 12 deaths and the sudden spike in whale activity in the bay remains a mystery. Oh, yeah, that's... You guys ever see that video of that one? I think it was a sperm whale that was washed up on a beach, and it was just putrid, rotten, and bloated like almost like a soccer ball. This is back, I think, in the 40s or 50s, and they didn't know what to do with it, but the Army Corps of Engineers came in and thought, that's so big, we can't really bury it. We can't really drag it out in the water and it'll wash up somewhere, so we got to get rid of it. And they had the great idea that they could use enough dynamite that maybe it would just kind of evaporate it. It would just be such a huge blast that it would just vaporize it almost. And so they loaded that bloated whale carcass, and I think this is in California. They loaded it with just tons of dynamite, and then they all got back and the siren went off, and then they hit it. And it blew up, but it didn't vaporize. It was like raining putrid whale blubber for like a mile in every direction. And I guess it was just a nightmare. But it's like this chunks of this putrid, rotting carcass were just spewed everywhere because they exploded it. And so it's just like, no, don't add dynamite. In all their wisdom, that didn't work out real well. And I'm laughing because it's just so absurd. It's like, well, what can we do with that? Well, let's blow it up. Sure. Why not? You ever take like an old putrid dead fish on the shore and put an M80 under it? Because the same thing happens. You just get chunks of putrid dead fish for about 100 feet around, and it smells horrible. So, yeah, just a terrible thing. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, look out below. Exactly. Could you imagine being out there watching it with your binoculars and just chunks of rotten whale and blubber are falling, and just a mist of what did get mystified? I don't know how to say it, but God, what a horrible mess. So that's what happens. No need for dynamite. They'll explode on their own. That's true. They will. I think to a degree they'll burst, but I don't know if they'll blow as big as the dynamite made it blow. But craziness anyway. I don't know. Just a weird story. I don't know. Things that pop into my head, just random bits of information throughout a course of a very weird lifetime. All right, I'm going to get that article up that Roman sent. Thought that was very interesting. Here it is. Pull this over. I think I got to shrink it a little bit. My one monitor is so much bigger than my other monitors, and so I got to size things down quite a bit before I move it over. There we go. And this is kind of current events. I've only just started to hear murmurs of this, but apparently there was a plane crash, and it's like was horrible. I think I saw some of you guys in the chat talking about it a little bit, just before the show. However, Roman Daniels of Supernatural Station podcast sent this to me on Instagram, and I was like, oh wow, that's pretty wild. There's a bit of a mystery about this with plane crashes. I don't know if there's anything to this, but this is two examples of pretty incredible events. So here you go. This is actually coming from Real Rate Dread, I guess, on Instagram. It's Rated Red, Real Rated Red. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know how to read that. Rated Red. All right, Thai singer Rung Sok Lok Choi Sok, known as Iron Bones, survived a deadly 1998 plane crash that killed 101 people. His seat? 11A. Fast forward 27 years, the sole survivor of last week's Air India crash in Ahmedabad also walked away from the wreckage, seated in 11A. Two people in two different plane crashes that walked away from it if they were seated in seat 11A. Rungshok shared his shock at the eerie coincidence, calling it goosebump worthy and offering his condolences to the victims' families. Two crashes, 27 years apart, same seat. One unbelievable reminder of how fragile life really is. Yeah, it's really crazy. Well, there you go. I don't know if you knew about that or not, but what are the odds that two people sitting in the same seat designation on two very different plane crashes both walked away? So if you can pick your seat, maybe 11A is a good one. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know what size the plane was or anything, but that's really freaky. So there you go. That's the supplemental article here on today's news. Not from unexplained-mysteries.com, but from Real Rated Red. So interesting story. Again, coincident maybe. Yeah, it might just be some happenstance of odds and chance. But what if there's something to it? What is with 11A? Something to think about, but I'll tell you what, this has been the news. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you're walking away learning and feeling good about all the knowledge you've gained from this deep dive into the news. Let's get back to the rest of the show. We got a lot to do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the news. Hopefully you enjoyed that. The news. You got it, David. You got it. PG63 came in. Good to see you, David Zeismer. Anybody else pop in that I didn't see? I'm looking. But anyway, good to have you all here. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday rendition of the Paranormal Portal. And again, this is the last live show of this week. Tomorrow, actually, I'm going to be going over to Medellin Falls for the Bigfoot Festival over there. I'm going to just walk around and see some people. Going to stop by and see Ronnie LeBlanc. He's a great guy. He and I got to know each other at the conference in Vernal, Utah, and he appeared on the podcast as well. And just a great guy. He and I message back and forth every once in a while. But I'm going to go over there and see him and Dr. Jeff over there. He's over there presenting. And actually, I'm going to go meet who is it? God damn it. Why is my brain so bad for names? I just wish my brain wasn't so bad for names. She's done Bigfoot videos forever, and I watched her long before I had a show. But I can't remember her name. It's just gone from my head. Barb something. Damn it. Barb Shoop? Barb Shoop. That's it. Thank you. It came back. It came back to my head. But yeah, I'm going to go over there and meet her. I've never met her before, but I'd watched her videos for quite a while back in the day. And, some of the captures she's got are just incredible, including some diminutively sized cloaked entity. And, you can find that video probably somewhere. I don't know exactly what to tell you to look for, but it's a cloaked being. And it looks like it would be about the size of a gnome, whatever this is that they caught. It doesn't look like a Bigfoot, but it looks like something about 2 or 3 feet tall, and it's pretty incredible. So yeah, I'm gonna go over there and meet her tomorrow. I'm bringing Mrs. Portal and the Minion over there, and we're gonna just make a day of it. Go over there to the Medellin Falls Bigfoot Festival. It's going on right now, as a matter of fact. So that'll be kind of fun. It'll be kind of fun also to just go as an attendee, to not be anchored to a booth, just walk around and do what I want to do. We'll just have a good time with it. Yeah, Karen Alberding, you love Medellin Falls. Yeah, you've been there. That's right. You and Neil. I think that's where I first met you, isn't it? In Medellin Falls, when we were over at that Bigfoot festival. Yep, that very one. I went to the first one. They just never invited me back. Although the organizers changed for it, so that doesn't surprise me. That happens all the time. But anyway, yeah. All right. What are we doing? We're going to do the Discord question of the week. That's what we're going to do right now, because that's how I roll, ladies and gentlemen, and we got a lot of that to do. Got a lot of rolling to do here tonight. A lot of ground to cover. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not already a member of our Discord, please get involved. We'd love to have you over there. It doesn't cost you anything. I can only tell you that if you like the chat room here, a lot of the same people are over on Discord having a chat all week long. And wonderful people, wonderful community. Rachel just posted the link in the YouTube chat, but it's appearing right on the screen up there. If you want to just go to that, just type that in. Hello, Laura Pruitt. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. It's good to have you here over on Facebook. And yeah, get involved in the Discord. I'd love to have you there. I'm playing with my bracelets. Sorry. My bracelets. I like to roll them through my fingers. I don't know. Anyway. Don't know why I'm sharing that, but I am. So I'll be going over to there tomorrow. And hey, I love this show. Thanks, Bigfoot Truth. Love you too. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you stopping in. But I'll be going over to Medellin Falls tomorrow. And I'll try to take some footage of the conference and do some pictures and post them on social media and stuff. So maybe I'll stream live from there if I get a chance. But you'll see it tomorrow. So watch for an impromptu possible stream. That's all I'm going to say. Possible. In fact, now I'm thinking of it, I got to do it right now too. I'm going to have to charge my phone on the way over there. So I got some ability to stream. But anyway, we're going to get to the Discord question of the week now. And this is a segment that has been championed by our very own Chucky Danger for a long time. He's done a hell of a job. I haven't seen him in here tonight. Have you guys seen Chucky? He was in last night, of course, but I don't know what his Saturdays are becoming, but I noticed he's not as often around. But he champions this question of the week every week, and these questions are basically having to do with some aspect of the paranormal. Now, a lot of people hear paranormal and think, oh, it's ghosts. Well, paranormal is not just ghosts. It literally means, by definition, not normal. Well, all of the stuff that we cover, UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, cryptozoology, as well as ghosts and strange phenomena, are not normal. So I don't know how people started equating paranormal with ghosts, just ghosts. But it's absolutely not correct. They hate being called ghosts too. Well, I think there are ghosts and then there are spirits. I don't know that they're all the same. I think spirits are much more conscious, but I think ghosts are much more like an imprint. Maybe not just residual, like they might have some consciousness, but yeah, I don't know. They haven't told me that, but I trust you. It could be a degrading term, I guess, to some, but what do we do? It's just words. But yeah, we're going to get to the question of the week now and see what is going on with this. So let's get it up on screen first, and then we'll do this because it's time for this. There we go. All right, this is the Discord question of the week, and on the screen right now is the Discord server. And here is what the question of the week will look like. Just check the date that it corresponds to the week we're on, because there is every question of the week in the history of questions of the week in this thread. So if you don't start at the bottom and work your way up and get to the most recent one, you can answer any of them, I guess, but just try to stick with the one that we're on, because it does become confusing sometimes when people answer the wrong one on the wrong week. Just so you know. But anyway, these are our attempts or our desire to hear your thoughts on this stuff, because you all have some amazing thoughts about these topics and some amazing insights as well. And I've really enjoyed this segment. I know that in Texas here, he's often talked about how he loves the question of the week. He loves this chance to hear your thoughts. So, and I gotta agree with him. It's a good segment. All right, so here's the question for this week. If you've ever seen the movie Flatliners, you'll be familiar with the premise of using carefully monitored medical devices and techniques to intentionally die for a certain amount of time and then be revived again. The purpose is to gather intelligence on what happens to the soul after death. Do you think that we could use carefully curated medical techniques to gather information on what happens next, kind of like an intentional NDE or near-death experience? Or is this just a dump of hormones that happens at the point of death? Or would this truly be peeking into what comes next? Credit for this question goes to Rachel. Well, thank you, Rachel. That was a great idea. And let's see what people said. Coming up first, Eric the Wandering Purple Hobbit. Yeah, Rachel gets it right. Sometimes some things are best left to mystery, don't you think? Don't we have enough near-death experiences information to build answers? We got a Michael J. Fox it now. Pure Hollywood fiction, my friends. That's what's next. Killer bees to Mars experiments. Think of ghosts, intelligent hauntings. If the afterlife wasn't real, ghosts wouldn't happen. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Coming up next is Annie Manuel. We could induce death in people, and that. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. It just got up in my nose. Uh-oh. Oh, I absolutely love sneezing. I got to be honest. I love the feeling of a sneeze. I don't know what it is. Most people hate sneezing, but I always find it kind of refreshing. Like, oh, got tingles everywhere now. Anyway, she continues on. I doubt any medical ethics board in the West is going to approve killing someone for non-medical reasons, nor is bringing someone back guaranteed. And then you have the best manslaughter, or at worst, murder. I don't think this is necessary either. Investigating into near-death experiences has been going on since the 70s, and it's still a developing field with ever more refined instruments of scientific investigation. Most investigations have been of cardiac arrest survivors. About 10 to 20% of them report NDEs. There's thousands of reports at this point. I don't think you need to kill people in an operating room in order to get results that are already there. There are other venues for investigation, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're already being done, such as CAT scanning people with scheduled induced arrest for valid medical reasons, drawing their blood, and so on. And as for things like DMT cascade in the brain upon dying, I don't know what to make of this. A pleasant death doesn't make evolutionary sense to me. On the other hand, people reporting NDEs is not proof of a soul. It is indicative, but it's not proof. Personally, I think there is a soul, but that's an opinion. I don't think we have the science to determine the nature of NDEs yet. We barely understand what consciousness is. We don't even know how anesthesia works on the brain. The one thing I am sure of, that medically killing people so you can find out what they say if they come back and may not, is not ethical, nor is it necessary, and the work is already being done without going that far. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I think that would be the scary part. It's like, yeah, there's no guarantee if, CPR doesn't always work. The paddles don't always work. There's no way to guarantee or to even be in the upper percentile of resuscitating somebody who's passed. And if it would be very criminal, and you would be doing time at the very worst, or at the very best, for trying those experiments because I don't think any medical board would underwrite that kind of research. Now, black projects kind of stuff, does it go on? Oh, I'm sure there's probably case files of that we'll never see of research just like that's going on. I mean, and I'm not just talking about Nazis either. I think that most every government in the world has black projects, and some of the sadistic, affronts to nature are being done in the name of information and trying to get an edge. So, yeah, I'm sure that stuff has happened and has been done, but it's not like a group of university students is doing it. It's probably in a dark bunker somewhere with a bunch of people who didn't volunteer for it. That's all I'm saying. All right, Karen Alberting weighs in next. Personally, I can't think of anything more dangerous and irresponsible to yourself just to find out about the afterlife. The damage that it can do to your body and brain can be traumatic, even if it doesn't show up right away. People who have had NDEs have had them because of trauma, such as myself, taking all of my mother's prescription pain medication at 4 years old. Oh my God, Karen, I didn't know that. In my case, I thankfully don't remember a thing, although I was in the hospital for a long time after being brought back. My parents were told I probably was not going to survive or would be severely brain damaged, but miracles do happen, which is why my firm belief in God and a higher power. Anyway, you don't just mess with things like this. if it is wrong on so many levels and a person still doesn't truly know anything about the afterlife, because you would have to be permanently dead to know that. I think the brain goes into a euphoric kind of state or nightmarish state, and depending on your belief, that is what you see. You will only see the truth and the true heaven, whatever that is, upon your death. So just so wrong to do anything like this. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Just in case I didn't make myself clear how I feel, it's wrong. Yeah, I don't think it would be, I mean, it makes for a good movie though, right? It makes for good entertainment. But yeah, is it actually good in practice? No, absolutely not. I don't think anybody would think that was a good idea. Plain Endo Gaming comes in and said, I believe that we conceive this scientifically as being a hormone dump, but to the experiencer, this could be a full closure moment. I also feel we shouldn't experiment on such things because that could have karmic repercussions. Well, that's interesting. I don't think that that's true, though. For the record, I don't think there's certainly those skeptics that say, well, it's a DMT dump and it's basically a mechanism of organism trying to cope with its own demise, so it creates this euphoric scenario to put you at ease because you're going down. Coley Weber says, great show. Oh, thank you, Coley. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's from Facebook. Good to see you over there. Thanks for checking out the show. But I will tell you that I don't believe that that's the case at all. I don't think it's just a chemical dump in the brain, because for those people that have experienced absolute brain death, like EEGs, EKGs, they're all flatlined. They're not picking up any signals in the brain or in the body at all. It's just all flatlined for minutes. Well, there shouldn't be any cognitive function, even if it is a DMT dump, because there's no firing neurons going on at that time. It's just like, boom, everything is flatlined. And yet people come back with these incredible stories, these incredible experiences that they had, sometimes meeting loved ones, religious figures, any number of different scenarios that are real. They're not, and there's some people that have been flatlined like that, and they're floating above their body watching what's going on in the operating room or in the ambulance or at the accident scene, and then are later resuscitated and can report even some accidents that happen that there's no way they would have been conscious of. So it's not just a chemical dump. I really don't buy that. I can't say it's not ever, but I don't believe that that's most of what these NDEs are. I think that's just a really good cop-out from people that don't want to embody or entertain the concept of a soul, because you kind of have to. If we survive, some conscious part of ourselves survives following this journey, that's not scientific anymore. That goes into the realm of spirituality and religion and all of that. And science isn't ready to embrace that, so they just actively try to refute it. Now, I will say there are many scientists out there that are people of faith, that have strong faith, and there's many scientists that have become faithful people by being scientists, because when they're looking at the complexities and the balances and the actual amazing orchestra that life is, they just come to this conclusion: there's something bigger going on here. This doesn't make sense. And so, a lot of people have become people of science, or people of some form of faith or spirituality because of what they've observed as scientists. Now, there is the absolute, atheists that just don't have any time for that. And that's their journey. I don't know. They'll maybe get there. Maybe they won't. But to each their own. Bigfoot Truth says, Brent, science is a religion and it doesn't believe in God. Yeah, well, that's true. God is, the science is God in that religion. They have their altars, they have their robes of decoration, they have rituals and things like that. Sure, I guess it could be called a religion as well. But it is, I'm not degrading science by any measure. Some incredible things have been brought into our reality and into our lives and have helped us immeasurably because of science. It's funny that science started out in the altar of religion, because it was like, it was kind of nurtured by the church at some point, or churches or religions or whatever. And then it kind of became its own thing, and it largely doesn't acknowledge that religion anymore. So it's kind of weird. All right, let's go to the next one. Chucky Danger weighed in and actually answered his own question. So, Rachel's question anyway. I think I'll pitch in this week. I think the truth of black operation projects are often hidden in fictional stories and movies, so that when any hint of the real accounts come forward, the public's perception of it is instantly into the realm of science fiction. That's actually a good point. I never thought of that. With the Cold War era race for psychic dominance, I could totally see a scenario where people would try to medically induce near-death experience in order to document the experience. Is it ethical or even logical? I'm not even sure the limitations on which black operation projects are willing to go. I think it's an interesting idea to ponder whether or not we could. Surely there is some sort of spiritual guard in place to prevent this from happening. Oftentimes in NDE experiences, there's a being that tells the person that it's not their time yet. I'm sure someone out there has tried this and screwed around and found out. Yeah, exactly. Good points. All right, Josh Casto comes in and said, demons, LOL. Okay, very complex. I think it's both ethical and logical and spiritual, but I believe everything ties back to God. Just saying my feels. It definitely gets weird. Just saying. Yeah, fair enough. All right, Eyes comes in next and said, this is my first time hearing this, actually. Very cool. Thanks for sharing. It is very pretty. It is very pretty, but that's all I have here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, Rachel comes in with the next comment. As a thought experiment, it does have ethical implications for those who are willing to perform such experiments. As Chucky said, there's the possibility that there are black operation projects like this that exist. Personally, I wouldn't want to take part of this as either an explorer or someone on a committee that signs off on them. If I had different belief system, maybe I would think differently. I am a curious person, but some things are best revealed not with human control to reach into these areas of the personal unknown. Yeah, very true. Got 3 more of them to go through. Barbara Mora comes in next and says, I know someone in this world has tried this or is going to without success. There are too many ethical arguments against such an experiment. If it has been done, I don't believe the results of the experiments would be openly published because of legal repercussions. Anecdotal evidence is the closest we will get for now. There was a series a few years back called the QA. The QA or the OA? OA. The OA. In that series, the experiment is done to gather NDEs, and honestly, these scenes were distressing to watch. I don't think it's a hormone dump. Yeah, I don't either. I agree. I don't at all. John T comes in next that I would say there would be a difference between self-induced and a real NDE. I think the outer realms know when you're playing games and when it's meant to be. Maybe they'll let you bring something back with you to teach you a lesson. Don't mess with I'm my belief God. Oh, don't mess with my belief in God. Creator of life. People want to play where they're not supposed to. They want to know the answer to everything. There should be areas that you don't mess with. It's a mystery of life. Yeah, I don't disagree. Eyes comes back in again. Controversial point. I think this is my 2 cents on the matter. Everyone else seems to have covered so many other points already. I think that this induced death and resurrection should only be done by those who are already ready to pass on, to keep this brief. Yeah, I mean, if they were going to do it, sure. I take in somebody terminal that's going to pass in some point and just see if you could do it. Well, I mean, if they sign off on it, and if it's just a matter of, a day or a week between then and when they're not going to be here anyway, I guess they got nothing to lose, and maybe it could be done. But anyway, I think that's interesting. I don't know, just a curiosity, but great ideas, great points of view, and thank you everybody for weighing in on it. It's an incredibly profound question, if you could, would you? I think that history is full of examples of, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And this is definitely one of those things I don't think you should do. I think that Josh had a good point that when it's meant to be, people do bring back that knowledge. They're seemed to meant to bring it back. Like the message is important. And maybe it's just to keep people on track. Like, wait, there's more to this. Whatever I'm dealing with in this world is a very small thing compared to the infinity that's out there. That's, this infinite journey that we're on. And maybe we just need reminders that are brought by these people just to keep us on track and remind us what's important and stuff, I think you're right. Although, one side effect that seems to be pretty consistent for people that have had NDEs is in many cases, they come back with a really enhanced sensitivity to, or psychic awareness. That seems to be a big after effect of these people that are experiencing NDEs. Not exclusively, but it definitely comes up quite often that people notice, God, now that I've had an NDE, I'm sensitive to the energies around me like crazy, and I'm getting premonitions and things like that. Maybe that's one of the gifts that comes. It's hard to say. We are living in the here and now. You're right, Barbara. Hey, Dog Digger. Good to see you come over and rumble. Great to have you here. So anyway, great thoughts. Thank you, everybody, for weighing in. And again, this goes on every week. If you're not familiar with it, this is the Discord question of the week. Please feel free to join our Discord server. The link is in the description below the video if you want to check it out that way. Otherwise, it has been posted in the chat. Just rewind to that point or whatever. But it's not a hard URL. It is literally https://discord.gg/paranormal portal. So love to have you over there. You guys are all welcome to be part of the party. That's perfectly fine. So we're going to get on with the rest of the show. If I can figure out where that is. All right. All right. That was the Discord question of the week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I like that. I like that segment a lot. I really enjoy hearing what you guys say, what you guys have to say about this stuff, because again, you guys have taught me and given me ideas and food for thought that I never would have gotten to on my own. So thank you so much. And thank you, Rachel, for putting the links in there. I appreciate that. Of course, paranormalportal.net is the home base for the Paranormal Portal. And would love for you to check that out, because that'll give you information on checking out the podcast as well, which this isn't it. This is the live streams, 2 different shows, both called Paranormal Portal, though. How's that for consistency? One name, 2 different shows. What do you do? That's not exclusively true, though. I do actually take sometimes videos of from YouTube or episodes from YouTube where I've interviewed people and made podcast episodes from those. But generally speaking, I like it, Bogart says. Well, God bless you, Bogart. I appreciate that. So, I guess it's time for the next segment. This one's going to be kind of interesting and just foreshadowing a little bit here. I'm not claiming that what you're going to see is definite proof of the phenomena, but I think I don't know. I just really enjoy this guy's stuff, and we'll go over that in a minute. I think he's a very interesting character. We'll talk about it in just a second, because right now, folks, as soon as I pull some things up here, we're going to get to that in just a second here. Anytime, just a moment. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. Still much to do. Got to shrink this window down. I forgot to do that. So I definitely got to do it now before we get there. Because here we go. Because now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the next part of the show. And we're going to get to that now. Here you go. It's time for... What the hell is that, ladies and gentlemen? All right, so full disclosure, I'm not, again, I wanted to introduce you to this guy's work because I find it enjoyable, not because I think that he's actually cataloging the phenomena. I don't know much about the guy. I know that his videos are at least controversial, but I find the subject matter fascinating. And I'm speaking, of course, of Irwin Saunders. He's been around for a while. He does these videos of, and I don't know, I think they're very, very cleverly done. They're very incredibly done if they, if indeed they are, and they most probably are created works. Again, oh, T-Bone gifted 5. God bless you. Thank you, T-Bone. Helldiver 420 got one. Nice to have you here in the show rather than in the game. Bic Flick 244 got one. Lars Grass got one. Good to see you, Lars. Rick Weigersen got one. And Carrie Strassener. Nice to have you guys here. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your membership for 1 month to the Paranormal Portal channel right here on YouTube. And special thanks to T-Bone. Really appreciate it. Josh is going into lurking mode. All right, so thank you there very much. So Irwin Saunders is this character, this guy. I don't know if it's a real person or if it's a character that somebody is portraying. But he goes out into the woods of England and brings his camera gear. And he creates these videos that allegedly are capturing pixies, little pixie characters. I think the guy might have a background in digital effects is what I think is going on here. But the videos are really fun. And there's a short here I wanted to show you. There's a whole crew of things over here. So this is Irwin Saunders is the channel on YouTube. He's got a hell of a lot of subscribers. I mean, a lot of people are checking out his stuff. He's only got 41 videos, but it's really cool stuff. Let's check it out without that noise. All right, look at those little videos. Aren't they adorable? And his narration to them is really fun, almost like who's the David Attenborough. It's almost like a David Attenborough, but he captures these little videos, little captures, whatever. And again, I don't necessarily think he's actually capturing phenomena, but they're really, really well done, and they're really fun to watch. Interesting. There's a little goblin character. There's a little pixie up there on the branches. And so I think they're fabrications, obviously, but they're just so fun to watch. I really enjoy this channel, and I thought I would take a moment to share it with you guys just because I don't necessarily think the guy is motivated to pull the wool over anybody's eyes, but he's just enjoying doing what he's doing. They're just really cool. They're really enjoyable to watch. But have you guys seen this channel? Anybody seen this before? Hi, Amanda's Crazy Life channel. Thank you for stopping by to say hi. Has anybody seen this channel? If you have, give me a 1 in chat if you're familiar with Irwin Saunders. Now, I will say he never comes out and says, no, this is just a bunch of bunk. It's just me that I've heard of. But there's a lot of people that believe these videos are absolutely legitimate and real captures. And there's a lot of people that are absolutely positive he's full of malarkey. They are really, really well done, though. Almost like Hollywood level well done. But what are the odds that one guy would carry a camera into the woods and continually capture little pixies that nobody sees ever? But somehow he's got this magic aptitude and camera and can come out. But it's just a fun channel. I really enjoy it. He's really fun to listen to. And again, it's not an in-your-face hoax. And in my opinion, I think it's just neat. I just think it's neat. I like his channel. I like his work. I don't know any background on the guy. Again, full disclosure, you don't need to see a video game trailer. But I think it's fascinating. And when you look at the video itself, when you see this, you got to admit, these are really, really well done. The focal lengths are really well. The subject matter looks like it's in position. So if indeed, and I believe it is CGI, but the stone there with some of the rock work, stonemason work on there was interesting. I don't know. Is it possible that he's catching anything? If he only had one video, I'd say, well, maybe that's possible. But the fact that he has a whole channel of videos of this stuff makes me go, absolutely nobody's going to catch that much on film ever. So if it was just one video, I'd go, well, maybe there's something to that. I don't know. I don't pretend to know for sure, and I certainly wouldn't remove that possibility. But given the fact that he has a whole channel of it, yeah, it's not real. This is not real footage. It can't be. Yeah, otherwise, his name is Gandalf. So that's Irwin Saunders. I wanted to showcase that with you guys, just because, again, I think it's fun. I think it's fun to watch and check out. But his channel is Irwin Saunders. There is another channel out there, and I don't know if this is somebody just trying to be him, but it's just called Mythical Irwin, and there's only 1.7 thousand subscribers over there, but it does show his videos. So it's probably some ripoff channel trying to bank on his work. But whatever the case is, it is called Irwin Saunders, and it's a fun channel. Again, I don't know. Are you guys interested in stuff like that? Let me know in the chat if you're interested. Now, I mean, obviously this is a paranormal show where we showcase and talk about the paranormal, but are things like this also fun? These videos are animated. Yeah, I think they are, Nate. They're just fun to watch, though. Some people create paintings of fantasy creatures like Brian Froud. He's creating short films of the same thing. Oh, very cool. Yeah. And again, I think if you look at it with, that they're entertaining, yeah, there's no harm, no foul. Again, the quality of what he's doing is exceptional for a guy that's, just doing it on his own. It's really, really well done. But again, nobody catches that much information or evidence repeatedly, because his channel has, I guess, 41 videos. And I want to look and see, when did he start this channel? He started this channel in 2017. But I imagine the workload to make these things this good is probably pretty significant, because, I mean, now you could just plug it into AI and make an absolute brilliant video. But, when he was doing it since 2017, and probably still, he's doing it the old way with, a CGI program and modeling and then matching resolutions to actual video and stuff. It's really a complex, complicated process. There's, it gets easier and easier as time has gone on with built-in tools and templates and stuff, but it's still, to do it by hand is no small feat, and I'm sure that he is. So it's just kind of fun. But yeah, I just thought it was neat and interesting, and sometimes it's okay just to, take a step off the truth or hoax path and just enjoy it for what it is. Now, do I think there are things like pixies out there? Yeah, I think there's something. These are something. I don't know if they lend themselves to photography much at all, but it's just interesting. So that's Irwin Saunders. For anybody that's not heard of him, check out his YouTube channel. It's just exceptional and really, really fun to watch. There is more, though. I do have more. And we're going to get to that now. I do have a video that I just found before going live. I just happened to see it pop up and I'm like, ooh, that's a good one. So kind of a double header here tonight on the, what the hell is that? I meant to close that, but I minimized it by accident. But let me pull up the next video. This one's kind of interesting. Not this one. Where the hell is it? Not that one. That one I can close. Is this it? No. Is that it? No. What the hell is that? Is it? Oh, yeah. This is something Matt Knapp put up. Actually, this is a third thing. I guess we could cover this one. This one's kind of cool. Back in the 90s, 1990, is one of the most famous 911 calls dealing with Bigfoot. And I know you guys are familiar with it. If you've listened to Sasquatch Chronicles, you hear it at the beginning of every show. He uses a segment of this 911 call, but Matt Knapp of Bigfoot Crossroads just posted it recently in its more complete form, What most people don't know is that call was 2 calls. The night before was another call to the police from this same gentleman because his dog was killed. And he had a big German Shepherd, and that German Shepherd was thrown over the fence at about treetop level and landed in his yard dead. And then the next night is when he called because the thing was in his yard. What is
sunlight?
Sunlight? Yeah, it was in the night though. The ghost box says sunlight. Yeah, I'm giving you some sunlight on the topic though, but this is a really fantastically, and I think very genuine experience this guy was having because he was so motivated by the experience that he called 911. And I think Wes did talk to the guy, as I recall, at some point. The guy never wanted to be on a show or anything, but he knows it's out there. It was a very real experience. So here is the full 2 calls to 911. And you're going to hear this now. I got to turn on the sound. All right, here we go. Putting it on screen.
911, what are you reporting?
I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
My dog went flying through the air over the tree. I don't know how it did it.
Okay.
Damn it, I'm really confused. All I saw was my dog coming over the fence, and he was dead when she hit the ground. I didn't see any cars. All I saw was my dog coming over the fence.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my central light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man or something. It looks like a man. I don't know what it was, just that it ran across the yard.
Okay. You've had problems in the neighborhood before?
Yeah, my dog was killed here just recently. I don't know what it was. Whatever it is, it's running. I couldn't catch it if I was going to chase it, but whatever it was standing up. I'm out here looking through the window now and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better...
Sir?
Dio!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right...
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
He's looking at me.
Oh, and the guy is on foot.
I don't know what... It's a big... real big person. That's all I can say.
Okay, but it is a person.
Yeah, I'd say it was a person or somebody really big. But he's all in black.
Is he a black male or a white male? Did you actually see whether, or was he just wearing black?
He's all black and he's big. He is big.
It's not.
Whoops, there we go.
Dude, have you seen what I see?
Whoops, there you go. So that's the actual calls in their entirety, at least as much as ever been released. I've never heard more of those calls, but I just think it's neat that, yeah, Sasquatch Chronicles, the best opening ever. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But those are, yeah, I mean, oh, there's Tex, Mr. Tex. Thank you, sir. God bless you. But those 911 calls are, I mean, if you listen to the guy's voice, he's not hoaxing. He's not pretending. And obviously, when you call 911, you are, I mean, they know it instantly who you are as soon as they answer that call. It's all recorded. So it's not a good thing to, like, is your refrigerator running? So, and you can hear it in his voice when he sees that thing out there. He's like, damn, you know, I mean, he's just all cussing, and you can tell it's very real time moment. He's seeing something that he just, I don't know, he doesn't know what to do with. And that stress comes right through in his voice. I mean, I think growing up, I knew about 5 people in my neighborhood that were just like this guy. And you can tell he's a stoic guy. He's like, he's not the kind to, you know, get all excitable or anything. He's just a very stoic, you know, man's man. And yet here he is, you know, calling his dog flew over the trees into his yard. It was dead before it hit the ground. And that was maybe not the day before. Maybe I misspoke that, but it was very recent. And then next up is the call where the thing's in his freaking yard. Somebody in the chat said, yeah, you can hear the panic. Yeah, exactly, Michelle. He was freaking. You're right, P. But I mean, that's not a scammy and a person, and that's not a person that's, you know, thinks there's you know, that, you know, there's a monster in his tinfoil or something. You know what I mean? It's this is a guy that's having a real moment, and it's recorded, and it's extraordinarily powerful. I have a friend up in Canada that got the custom license plate. It says 6'9", like 6 FT9 IDK. 6'9", I don't know. He's big, but that is pretty crazy. Yeah, mag dump. Yeah, I mean, if it killed my dog, that's the first thing I'd be thinking of is, okay. So, yeah. Laura Pruitt says, I've never seen a Bigfoot, but I saw something just as tall, just as freaky slender, but about 10 feet tall. Well, I mean, the Bigfoot have quite a biological diversity in that there's not just one body type. I think they're very much like us. Like, there's people like me that are a little more robust, and there's the very athletic, well-toned, you know, muscular types, and you know, and then there's the shorter, squatter types. I mean, I think that Bigfoot may have that similar amount of biodiversity. So they don't all look like Hulks. So, but it could be a werewolf. You're right, Josh Casto. It could be a dogman that you saw. Not you, Josh. I mean, Josh was saying werewolf. Oh, he was laughing at werewolf. Sorry. But Laura, maybe it was a dogman you saw, because they're generally very big as well, but are much more skinny or lanky. Yeah, they look more like a buff NBA player. A lot of people equate the dogman to that. So anyway, I think that's where I'll close off the what the hell is that? The other video, I don't know what I did with it, but I hope you guys enjoyed this segment. What the hell is that?
What the hell is that?
But now it's time for another segment, and that is this one. This creepy crawler segment. Yeah, some of them are creepy crawlers. I was going to do some more of the article from Thought Catalog, but I think we only got 30 minutes left, so I can't squeeze 2 segments into this. And we can finish up the article another day or another days, depending on how long it takes to get through it. But anyway, pretty crazy. It's time for the cryptids. Cryptids, in case you're not familiar with the term, are cryptozoological creatures or things that are out there, much like Bigfoots and Dogmen, that aren't recognized by our established sciences. They are not considered real by biologists and scientists in large part. I don't think that that's universally so. There are some scientists and zoologists out there that are definitely willing to explore the idea of Bigfoot. A wonderful lady named Amy Boo is working with this Project Zoo Book, and it's where she's working. She does a lot of Bigfoot research and has done some incredible stuff, but she works with biologists and zoologists that are interested in the topic, but can't be out in the open about it because, you know, they have careers, but they are still interested in and have been actively involved in that with her. And I think that's amazing and wonderful. So if you ever hear about Project Zoo Book, that's Amy Boo. She's just a wonderful soul, just a really warm, loving person, and an incredible speaker as well. If you ever get a chance to see her speak at a conference, take her up on it. Listen to her. She's really good. Brent, you are one ravishing fella. Really? What? Come on. How you go on? I'm a ravishing fella. Well, thank you. You're not so bad yourself. All right. Well, let's get to the cryptids and find out what the hell we're going to cover today. We're going to start out right in Phantoms and Monsters with, which is Lon Strickler's site. And this is an incredible site. Lon is just a pillar of the community. And I say this every show, but I literally am very impressed with what Lon does and how often he is constantly updating his site. There are several new articles every day of encounter stories and things that he's looking into. Sometimes it's research stuff with his partners that across the country, but it is really a cornerstone of the cryptozoological Fortean, and paranormal topics. So it's all over there on phantomsandmonsters.com. So definitely check out phantomsandmonsters.com. And check out Lon's podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio, again on Friday nights. Lon streams live at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern, does an hour, and talks about a lot of this stuff on his site. And then he opens it up for questions from the chat. You know, people can ask him questions, and he'll field them. The guy has just an encyclopedic knowledge of this stuff. And then, he's on for an hour. Then I come on Friday nights, and we go for 2 hours. And then after us, Dave Scott comes on. So it's like this great Friday run all the way from 6 p.m. Pacific to into the morning hours of the next day, with Spaced Out Radio and their 3 hours of fun that he does over there. So lots going on. But anyway, hi Taz, how you doing? Hi Brent and Paranormal Family. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in, Taz, over on Facebook. Wonderful to have you here. Hi Maggie. Yeah, we all love Lon. Lon's a great guy. So we're going to start out there. Here's, I think a lot of people are familiar with the sightings of pterodactyls, and of course the Mokele-mbembe of the Congo, which is supposed to be this brontosaurus-like creature that is in the thick swamps of the Congo. And I think Mokele-mbembe is like it translates to the diverter of rivers. Like like when they're in the water, they block the river. Like literally the water gets stopped because they're so big. And, these people are that have experiences with them. These are not people that go to science museums and came up with some flight of fancy. These are tribal peoples that don't have a lot of contact with the outside world at all. But when they were presented with books of dinosaurs, they looked and saw a brontosaurus and said, oh, Mokele-mbembe. They knew that these things were out there. And now this is another one from apparently East Africa. This is Muhuru, Jurassic relic still seen in East Africa. Looks like an ankylosaurus, I think is what those are called. It looks like that. Those are those ones that have they look like a kind of a turtle, but then they got that tail with the bone ball at the end, like a swinging a mace. I guess they're still around. This is brand new to me. So let's read what it says. The Muhuru is said to have an armor-plated, club-tailed creature that lives deep within the thick overgrowth terrain of East Africa. Some people have suggested that it's a modern example of a living dinosaur. Photographic or biological evidence is sketchy at best in proving this animal's existence, and the general consensus among cryptozoologists is that the Muhuru is yet another Jurassic relic, unlike Mokele-mbembe, which is known for its vicious territorial instincts. The Muhuru, which has been spotted primarily in Kenya, is not known to be aggressive. Well, that's good. Yeah. You wouldn't want that tail coming at you, I'm sure. Eyewitnesses have described the Muhuru as heavily armored reptilian beast with large bony plates jutting out of its spine, and there is speculation that this creature may well be a surviving species of the plant-eating dinosaur called the Stegosaurus. Well, that's not a Stegosaurus at all. That looks more like an ankylosaur. Stegosaurus didn't have, they might have bony side plates like a rhino, but they'd have these plates going all the way down its spine. What they're depicting here is more like an ankylosaurus. Okay. Not that I'm flexing dinosaur knowledge, but yeah, that's okay. The beast may be more akin to the squat armadillo-like dinosaur known as the ankylosaur. Boom, baby. I have not pre-read this, just for the record. Ankylosaurs were bulky armor-plated quadrupeds with short, powerful limbs with clubbed tails, which they used to fend off predators. Yeah, of course, the Stegosaurus had a spiked tail, like the tail with about 4 huge bony spikes. I don't know where it is. It made the sound, but I don't know where it appeared unless it's in my lap. I might be getting a ghost lap dance right now and not even know it. Dang it. But anyway, the first known to have appeared in China during the early Jurassic period, these unique creatures managed to survive at least until the end of the Cretaceous period. Lon says, I received a brief correspondence from a Canadian reader a few months ago where he detailed the conversation he had while on vacation in Kenya in 1988. Sir, I want to thank you for the daily newsletter. In the spring of 1988, my father and I vacationed in Africa where we toured several parts of the continent. During the last week of our trip, we were able to secure an invitation from an associate to accompany him to Mount Elgin National Park in western Kenya. It was a bone-jarring 200-mile trek by car. Oh, God, that would be horrible. From Nairobi to the park, then an additional 10-plus mile hike through very rough terrain. It was the most unusual area we'd ever visited during our trip. I especially enjoyed the caves known as the gathering place for elephants who would scratch for salt with their tusks. We stayed the night of the at the park lodge, and that evening we had a conversation with the park guide who mentioned that there had been talk of a strange animal in the rainforest at the foot of the mountain. A group of locals had discovered a freshly killed male elephant that had large lacerations across its abdomen and neck. The theory was that this was not an attack by another elephant and that a mahuru was the culprit. The guide explained that a mahuru is said to be a dinosaur-like animal and larger than a fully grown elephant. My father and I were amazed by this story because the guide was very serious when he talked. Another gentleman was listening to the conversation and said that he had seen a drawing of the mahuru and that it looked like an armored dinosaur with a horned club tail, rather. I was later shown the picture that resembled a Stegosaurus dinosaur. Have you heard of this animal? That was from Nevin. There's very little information on the mahuru. I suspect it's more legend than fact, but I still wonder what could have killed the elephant in that manner. And that's Lon. And so apparently this is an actual depiction of the mahuru. And there it is. So it does kind of look like an a Stegosaurus. Maybe not as large and robust, more squat. But then again, the Mekele Mbembe it doesn't look exactly like a brontosaurus, what we think they look like. It's a little bit different, so maybe that's just the work of an evolving species. I don't know. But pretty fascinating. Wow. What do you think? Could there still be these dinosaurs out there? And here's the thing. Alligators, crocs, they've been around for millions of years. They managed to make it. Sharks, lots of ocean-going animals, including, what the hell's that fish that was thought to be extinct and they found him again? I can't remember the name now. But anyway, a lot of things that we have today, including a lot of the raptors, could be evolved versions of dinosaurs. So is it possible that some actual, other dinosaurs continued, maybe stayed more true to their original form, but I guess evolved in some manner due to where they're living? I don't know. I think it's possible. I think there's a lot of the world we haven't seen. Is it possible we're still got dinosaurs traipsing around somewhere? Well, again, we get reports of pterodactyls still, even in America and Canada, there's reports of T-Rex. Texas has reports of some kind of T-Rex looking thing. Is it possible? Yeah, I guess it is. I don't know how it works, how they're here and how they didn't die off, but I don't know. I don't know what to think. If there were still some dinosaurs, it'd make my heart very happy. Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool, actually. And like I said, there are surviving members of animals that existed during the dinosaur eras, like the alligator, crocodiles are definite descendants, sharks, and so on and so forth. But yeah, what about other ones? Why not? I'd love to. I mean, honestly, I might be an absolute idiot because I've seen the movies and see how this goes, but if there was a Jurassic Park that I could go to, I would go. I would want to see what that looked like, because I think it would be an opportunity of a lifetime to just kind of like take a walk back in time, so to speak. But there it is. That's the story of the mahuru. Again, this is the first I've ever heard of it, but I find it fascinating. And yeah, why not? Why not? Especially in Africa, where a lot of the land isn't populated. There's a lot of really wild, untouched areas out there. So I think we do have some. Look at crocodiles. Yeah, exactly, Ruthie. Yep, look at crocs. Sure. Very true. Yep. All right, here we go. We're going to go to the next one from Phantoms and Monsters. Reptilian humanoid encountered on Rowan Mountain, Tennessee Road. In Tennessee, folks, there's a lot of weirdness in Tennessee. I'm here to tell you. The Smokies, and of course the Appalachian, the trail is right through there. There's a lot going on in the Smokies and in Tennessee. And everywhere, I guess, really. But it's amazing to me how often Tennessee comes up. And maybe it's because Merkel moved there. Maybe because Tony Merkel lives there now. Maybe that had something to do with it. No, there is a bunch of weirdness there, including secret bases and some weird, apparently portal experiments that Tony's talked about on his show, having some insider information on some strange experiments that have been done there and more. And of course, the deep underground military bases that are everywhere. So God only knows. But let's see what's going on with this reptilian humanoid. Maybe it's just extraterrestrial. Reptilians like we hear about. Who knows? Let's see what it says. I talked to a witness of a reptilian humanoid that crossed in front of them while driving on a road in Rowan Mountain, Tennessee. And I'm not sure what part of Tennessee Rowan Mountain is, but it could be around the Knoxville area. One evening in 2010 near Rowan Mountain, Tennessee, a woman was driving her ex and his son back home from a birthday dinner at a favorite restaurant and was coming along a 2-lane stretch of road when ahead of them they saw what appeared to be a large white ball that had moved out onto the highway, directly from a cemetery above. Well, she said it began coming towards them as if it were trying to collide with the vehicle, and the closer they got to this thing, they had a better look at it, and she described it as appearing to be half animal, reptile, half human, with human limbs. It had 2 arms, 2 legs, and was crawling on its belly. Well, she hoped the creature would exit the highway and into the woods to prevent getting hit, but it just continued moving directly at them and the vehicle. Well, she slammed on her brakes to avoid hitting it, and at that point, the creature went from spinning like a tornado right before it made contact with the front of the vehicle. And then she said it went beneath the radiator and vanished. She and her ex and his son were all quite shaken and terrified and said that whatever the creature was, it wasn't anything from this world. She continued describing it as having 2 arms and legs, human-like, mid-body alligator or reptile, and white as snow. It crawled on its stomach like a reptile. And the ex stated that during the encounter, it felt like time had stood still. Everything just slowed down. And all 3 of them agreed that they had a very eerie feeling that something very evil was present before they encountered this thing. So they had like that eerie foreshadowing. Like you could feel it coming, and that's really creepy. It does sound more supernatural than actually physical, but God only knows. What was it? Very scary kind of stuff. But there you go. That was in Tennessee. Now the picture kind of depicts it sprinting across the road, but it sounds like it was just kind of, spider crawling, if you will. Much like the Bigfoot appeared to do. But it definitely wasn't a Bigfoot, apparently. All right. Maggie says, supposedly the AYR guys found some scat and sent it for testing, but the results are something like unknown or the sample couldn't be tested or something. Would have to double check it, though. Yeah, scat testing, I think, is fantastic, but unless you saw the thing make the scat, how do you know what it's from? I don't know. I mean, I'm not really that familiar with Australia, though, but I don't know what roo poop looks like or koala poop or anything, so it all would just look like poop to me. But maybe there's a distinction. Let's go to the next one. Is this going to be maybe the last one? We'll see how long it is. Here it is, the pale gray crawler story. Humanoid encountered near Lakemont, Georgia. Look at that thing. I mean, if you saw that in the woods, come on. I'm serious. I'd be like, in the car now. I don't know what it is about these things, but they're just extra creepy to me. Like, I think the last thing I'd want to see, I'd rather see a Bigfoot in close proximity than have one of these in close proximity. And I don't know, maybe they're not as harmful as they appear, but every fiber of my being just does not like these things. I don't know why. A 13-year-old boy is at a rifle range cleaning up expended shells, and he hears a noise coming from a tree trunk and encounters a pale grayish humanoid. I came across the following account. Well, this happened in the summer of 2003 when I was 13, during one of my stays at a YMCA camp in North Georgia near Lake Mount. One evening, I was tasked with having to clean up the rifle range away from the camp because the counselors didn't want to do it due to a thunderstorm, or did not do it due to a thunderstorm. I was walking up to the range and heard rustling, but didn't really pay any mind because we were in the Blue Ridge Mountains, foothills of the Appalachians. I walked onto the newly built range platform and onto the range to pick up what brass that I could find. Well, after a few minutes, I kept hearing a rustling near a tree trunk. Well, just shrugged it off and kept picking up the brass and putting it into a container near the firing line. I kept hearing walking, but this sounded different, like a person was walking, not like a deer or normal forest critter. I also heard some odd chattering and assumed it was a fellow camper. I walked to the trail towards the field and realized it was coming from the tree trunk. Well, I walked towards the tree trunk and saw what looked like a pale gray human-like being rifling through the tree trunks, mumbling, which sounded raspy and had an odd cadence to it. I wonder if it said, "Process, my process." Maybe. I started walking towards it and accidentally kicked up a pine cone that went through the undergrowth and made a good bit of sound. Well, the being then turned and looked at me. It had dark, sunken black eyes and thin lips, a normal-looking human nose, and patches of hair. But what caught me was that it looked shocked that I was there. We locked eyes for what felt like an eternity, and it walked back bipedally around 10 steps, all while maintaining eye contact with me, got on all fours, and ran into the forest. I, being 13, was scared to death and ran back to my cabin and told the counselors. Well, we all walked towards the range and looked around, and we did find bare feet prints and candy wrappers all over, but they chalked it up to being my imagination. Oh, no. That's not good. Just the imagination. I don't know. Crazy, creepy stuff. Again, the pale crawlers, I don't know what they are. I don't know. I think they're ghouls. There's Lon's books if you want to see what Lon has written. He's written these titles that are available now, but you can click this link and find all of his books that he's written. So, we got about time for one more. Let's do one more. Here's one, Pops, Potter County, Pennsylvania's resident Bigfoot. They call him Pops there. That's kind of neat that it's like everybody there knows Pops, right? So it's kind of just an accepted part of life there. And I think that's really cool. Like, it sounds peaceful. It doesn't sound like, booger or wood booger. It's, well, that's Pops. What's that big thing walking around the forest? Oh, that's Pops. Well, that sounds lovely. That sounds nice. Doesn't sound bad. Let's see what's going on with Pops. I could hardly talk, he remembers. I just kept saying, "Squatch, squatch." Sandy said, "Hold on, I'm coming." But by the time she got there, Pops had left. Here's an older article that was published in the Potter Leader Enterprise in 2013. It's no longer available, so that was cool. That's cool that Lon archives these things. That's wonderful. Although they don't have substantiated evidence, some local Squatch hunters say that they have had numerous encounters with an elusive creature in Potter County and the surrounding areas. They say Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, Yeti, Rougarou, Wendigo? Wendigo. It's Wendigo. Abominable Snowman, Meteor, and many other names, each specific to one of the many...
Twice.
Yeah, they're all the same name. More than twice. Makes its home in our area probably because of the abundance of remote habitat and favorable terrain found here. Sandy Kramer and Justin Prouty, two of the most dedicated hunters, say they started their local research project kind of just on a whim. One night, Justin and his wife were at my house, and we were kind of bored. and said Kramer, a semi-retired nurse, and Justin said, let's go Bigfoot hunting. Well, I thought he was kidding, but then but we went that night and had a lot of fun. We kept going, and when we started having some encounters, we got to thinking, oh my God, this is real. That was the summer of 2011, and they've since gotten hooked on squatch hunting, although Kramer points out that hunting isn't really the right word. What we're doing is looking for evidence and researching. We're trying to learn as much as we can about a creature that's not very well known. The closest encounter they've had is with a Bigfoot that they've named Pops. They describe him as a light gray and report seeing him several times. They suspect he is also a creature who has been enjoying the peanut butter that they leave out in an area he seems to frequent. Once, when Kramer and Prouty walked along the edge of a field, two other Squatch hunters watching from a nearby barn saw a large gray creature step out of the woods and follow them a short distance back. Then, a couple of weeks later, when Kramer and Prouty were at the barn, Prouty walked the length of the field alone while Kramer remained by the barn doing call-outs, a vocalization similar to the whooping calls of a Bigfoot done in the hopes that a Bigfoot will respond. As Prouty passed an old orchard along the edge of the field, he noticed what appeared to be a discolored shape in the grass, and just then, Kramer whooped and the shape stood. Prouty said that in the light of the bright full moon, there was no mistaking the creature. Pops was only about 30 feet from Prouty, and although the ground was about 3 feet lower than where Prouty stood, he said they were at eye level, and Prouty was so startled that he dropped the parabolic dish he'd been carrying and then tried to call Kramer on the walkie-talkie to tell her what he'd found. I could hardly talk, he remembers. I just kept saying, "Squatch, Squatch," Sandy said. "Hold on, I'm coming." But by the time she got there, Pops had already left. He went about 50 or 60 feet up a steep bank in just 4 or 5 strides. Good God, said Prouty, and he and Kramer checked the spot where Pops had been laying and found that the grass was warm while all around was covered in frost. If I'd seen just a glimpse of something in the distance, I could tell myself it was something else, not a Bigfoot. But when you see one that close, there's nothing else you can tell yourself, said Prouty. It was Bigfoot. There you go. Good take. Yeah, I think that's cool. Cool. I do like there was Momo in Missouri, but although that one was more of a nightmarish tale, the stories of Momo was really not good, especially if you were an animal lover and you had a dog, because one of the things Momo was noted for doing was apparently taking off with people's dogs and cats and stuff. Like it was like a buffet when Momo was around, but Momo was a bit atypical too. Something about Momo, it doesn't make sense because it was apparently three-toed, which I don't understand. And some people say, well, maybe that's a result of inbreeding, and I don't know how that works, but I think you end up with more digits with inbreeding, like the 6 toes rather than 3, but maybe not. I don't know. Not sure how it works, but Momo apparently had 3 toes. And the other thing with Momo that was different was nobody ever really saw the face. It was like this draped hair. Looked like a huge Cousin It from the Addams Family back in the day. Like, what the hell is that? Well, nobody knows what it looks like underneath that big mop of hair, but interesting stuff all the same. Yeah, that's been the show. I hope you guys had a good time. Hope you enjoyed it. This is, of course, the last live show before the end of the week. Watch for the new podcast on Monday. I should have one up there or very soon after. If I'm late, I'll leave a message on the social media and the Discord and stuff to let you guys know, but it should be there. I just know I'm going to the conference tomorrow, so it might push things back a little bit. But in any case, I hope you guys had a good time. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate you guys. 6 toes is an indicator of a Nephilim. Maybe. Again, what is that based on? I don't even know. And I'm not kiboshing that. It's just, you hear these things, and I always wonder, well, how do they know that? Have they seen Nephilim? Who counted the toes? And again, I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm calling you out on that. I'm really not, because I'm open to the possibility. It's just, what do we know? And really not much. But that's the journey. That's what we're trying to do this for. We're all looking for answers, folks. But thank you, BJ. I appreciate it. Thank you, PG. Wonderful to have you all here. Thank you for joining me as always. Karen, thank you so much. Thank you, Barbara. Happy Dad's Day again. And again, is that tomorrow? Is tomorrow Father's Day? Because I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just can't remember dates. So if that's tomorrow, I'll have to look after I get done with the show. Or you can tell me in the chat. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, I mean, you might be right, PG. And it could be a biblical thing. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. And so, but I apologize if it sounds like I'm calling you out, because I'm really not. When is Father's Day? Somebody tell me. Is it tomorrow? Is that what it is? Somebody put it in chat. I don't know when it is. Honest to God, I don't. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Taz. I didn't know until I got here. I didn't know tomorrow's Father's Day. I don't know much, though, but I know I love you. Wait, that's a song. But it is true. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for filling me in. Keep me honest, you guys. So tomorrow's my day, then. I like that. I like that it's my day tomorrow. Cool. I need one. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, and to all you mothers that are doing both roles, or fathers that are doing both roles. God bless you, and take care of those kids. Those are the greatest resource we have for the future, is how we raise these kids. So give them lots of love, and give them your time and attention, and make them know that they are amazing little beings. So, and grandkids, and so on and so forth. So, all right, that's it for me. I'm going to go relax and get something to eat. I haven't eaten for a long, long time. So I'm going to go do that. And I will see you next Wednesday for the next live show. Again, watch social media. Follow me on Facebook and stuff. Watch for any postings or announcements, for any changes in schedules. I may do a live stream tomorrow from the conference, just to bring you guys there with me and walk you around, but we'll see what happens. See how the bandwidth is and stuff. I know Medellin Falls is way up there in the mountains, so it may. I've streamed from there before, but I don't know if it'll work tomorrow or what it'll be like. So it's possible, but at any rate, I'll take some pictures and bring you into the experience with me as much as I can. So that's it. That's it. What does somebody say? National Brent Day. Thank you, BJ. I like that. I like the way you think. You're awesome. All right, that's it for me. Good night, everybody. Remember, I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Enjoy yourself. Keep your families close and warm, and love them as much as you can. And I'll be back Wednesday. Watch for the new podcast, probably Monday. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Good night, everybody.